audio setting and desync and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You're a desync.
I love desync. Desync's like my favorite thing.
Alright, so I have the stream muted. Guys.
I have the stream muted too.
I have the stream muted.
You should unmute the stream so we can get an infinite audio loop.
I should. Here, I'll do it for you right now. It's amazing.
No! You should unmute the
Well,
stream.
there it
is.
There you go. I got it.
All the viewers that were going to show up are just never going to be here anymore.
Alright, so audio level is okay? Boom, and their sync with like video and everything is fine?
Yeah, actually, it looks pretty good.
Alrighty.
I obviously look the best, so but yeah, there you go. Looks pretty good.
I'm rocking the pale.
Debatable.
But since this is live, since you guys can't see me, at least you can see me through this with a couple of seconds to wait.
That's true. Throwing up gang signs? Like what?
What?
Right.
You just put your hands. Okay, no. Okay, I was watching the Twitch. I thought that what you just did 15 seconds ago was like, oh, the gang signs.
No, I used to have a
Look
friend
at
that
my
could do like the bloods thing, like with his finger. I can't do that, but all right. So let's just go ahead and do an official start. Do we actually have anybody that's really watching this at this point? Somebody came in live and they're going to be like, "What the hell is happening?"
I mean, I told some friends that we're gonna go live like 15 minutes ago, so they might be.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and do a basic intro. This, oh my gosh, we actually do have people that are in here. So congratulations, guys. As you can tell, while we're doing audio setups and all of that fun stuff, this is going to be the very first PUBG online, I guess, podcast is the best way to describe it. It's kind of a roundtable meeting that we're going to be doing where we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about what's happening, everything that's going on outside of PUBG as an esport, what's going on as PUBG as a game, probably pick on each other a little bit, just the, general nonsense that happens inside of this. For people that are coming in on the stream, you probably are familiar with myself. I am Matrim. I do a lot of the casting for a lot of the games from North America right now, bounced around to a lot of different stuff. Pretty much I'm known for being notorious about muting, so that's my legacy that I bring to PUBG. Let's go ahead and go around clockwise on how everything goes through here. So Little Fuzzy Seal, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I am a Little Fuzzy Seal. As you can see, not a real Little Fuzzy Seal, but it is the goddamn cutest animal. And you know what? If you get killed by a Little Fuzzy Seal, then you got some shame for you. Anyway,
you are fuzzy. You are fuzzy.
Dude, I don't like this dude, man. I wanna get it shaved because I saw it the other day in a picture I had to send to someone else. And I was just like, oh, geez, man. Like, I want to get like a little bit of this cut off. Just a little bit.
See, I'm being lazy lately, and I just haven't shaved at all. You guys can't tell.
I mean, I'm looking at you on stream right now, and you look, like,
See,
you got like what can only describe as like a douche stash.
Yeah, I like to refer to it as the pedo stash because as it goes in, it doesn't connect right here. And I just look like very French, and I'm just gonna like go walk around a elementary school like, how are you doing today?
Sacre bleu.
I just can't grow hair, so.
So okay, Fuzzy Seal, tell us more about yourself, man. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I'm a Little Fuzzy Seal. I've been casting games for probably the better part of a year now. So probably not as long as some of the heckin' veterans around here, but pretty much PUBG is my favorite game in a very, very long time. So I'm pretty knowledgeable about it, and usually for fun in the game I just solo queue into squads because I am a masochist, I guess. So there you go. Hopefully I'll be seeing everyone around the PUBG online stream more, as I intend on getting in some future casts.
Oh yes. And so with this, we'll now move down to Bixley, the man that's like super close to his camera. Hi, how are you doing, buddy? So hey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
It's actually pronounced Bixel, but yeah,
you said it could go both ways.
It does go either way, but if we're gonna be semantic, it's Bixel.
All right, Bixel.
So yeah, my name's Bixel. I've been in esports overall for about like 5 years. I started back in Infinite Crisis in like 2012, 13ish. Competed there for a little bit, then I started casting it, and I actually like casting a lot more. So even though I didn't get a chance to cast many other games, I am trying to get back into that now with PUBG.
Keep it short and simple. And so then we carry over to Chocolate Pain.
So I'm Chocolate Pain. Basically, I love this game. When it came out, I started playing it and I just got like hooked on it. I have well over 800 hours in the game. And right now I'm the PUBG Online interviewer and a mod. So that's why sometimes you'll see me in the mod, not the mod channel, but the Twitch channel, making sure people are tame. So
that's like the roughest job here. Like there is the adminning that goes in the background, but let's be honest, wrestling Twitch chat, that's like trying to wrestle down a demon, which makes sense right now because you've got that like halo like holy glow back behind you. Be like, oh.
What's that movie that has Leonardo DiCaprio? He fights a bear. Yeah, that movie, The Revenant.
Yeah, that's
very.
When he finally got an Oscar for, right?
Fine.
Did he? I don't remember. Whatever.
He got an Oscar for it.
That's practically a meme at this point.
Movies. All right, so with this, if you guys are not familiar with what PUBG Online is, but let's be honest, probably everybody that's watching right now is one of the followers. It's a tournament that goes on. Well, I guess it's more than a tournament. It's kind of a community. It's a whole bunch of different stuff that just kind of allows the esports scene for PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds to start growing. Right now, we are running events every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and additionally doing a lot of production for a lot of other events, not just those three, which you might be hearing about some. Talk about those yet. So with this, just know that if you're interested in EU or North America stuff, kind of what we're going to be talking about. So let's kind of get a little bit of a get-go in this and talk about what's happening with specific teams and inside the ratings. We recently had a reset. The way it works is every single game is worth a certain amount of points, and then all these teams accumulate points. On Mondays, the top 18 team play against each other, but then Tuesdays and Wednesdays, anybody can play. But with this reset that we had at the very beginning of this month, we had a lot of teams kind of mix up and change up their rosters. And now we've seen some really solid teams come up because there for a while, it was like off constantly wins. And they had like 100-point lead on everybody last time around. But now we've got pure RNG that's coming in, W's, Team LFS. What are you guys' opinions on some of these teams jumping in?
I mean,
No, you go first, man. You go first.
I mean, pure RNG. I mean, they seem to be killing it right now in North America. I mean, like they're like almost 70 points ahead of the next team. It's just like they clearly made changes that are working, and it's showing on paying off for them.
And just so everybody that's watching, I know sometimes it's hard to know who's on what teams because there's like no way to show in the UI in game right now. But pure RNG consists of Valiate, your boy Dre, Maluk, Pride, and Brian H. So those will be the names that you probably see popping up on the kill feeds or us following spectate every once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, occasionally on the spectator tab, there'll be like a list of people that show up. You can kind of like use that to keep track of your favorite teams and favorite players.
Yeah,
I will say, when every time we're watching a tournament, you always see your boy Jerry and Maluk at least getting at least 3 or 4 kills for their team every time. They're very consistent in that aspect, and honestly, I think that's one of the main reasons that they're staying so high is they have like at very least 2 very consistent players.
Well, I think that we should talk about that for a little bit, right? Because I think that a lot of people have been discussing about PUBG Online, or like tournaments in general, about like what the win condition should be. And the current win condition is only survival. But as we can see now, if you have players that are consistently good at killing people, even if you don't get points for it, having someone who's good at shooting is still pretty good to have on your team.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, eliminating people does assist in getting the win. That's what it comes down to. Like, sure, the common saying in PUBG Online, or PUBG, is just the fact that the only kill that matters is really the last one. Let's be honest, that's not true. If you manage to like drop next to somebody and take out a team really early, that's really highly ranked, well, that just kind of opens up the entirety of the game. One of the things that, jumping in on this, like the point system, well, I gotta say this. We got Machine Gunner in chat that's talking a little bit of trash over here. It's like, lucky we missed 3 games this week. All right, Machine Gunner, I see you. I'm calling you out right now. That just means pressure for next week, man. But
put up the points, baby. Let's go.
Official call out.
I mean, he's bringing it. So with this, I do want to talk about the kills situation because I know that's a regularly debated topic.
Yep.
The problem with kills, let's talk about it from a multi-point spectrum. One, I'm not going to pretend to be an admin. I'm just going to pretend to be the guy that's like running the camera and talking about stuff. A big issue with this is tracking kills is how do you balance points on it to begin with? Like, let's say you make, like, right now everything's worth 30 points. I know that even the present points, where it's like first place is 30, second place is what, 20, third place is 15, then below that's 10, then 5, blah 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 blah. We'd have to create a new point system in there, which we might need to look at sooner or later, so that way we don't end up with such huge lead gaps that happen. But how do you, like, let's say you get a point for every single kill. We've seen some games where somebody can get, like, a team can get like 16 to 18 kills, and now they're in first place with 16 to 18 kills. That means that one team just got like 50 points in one round, and another team has to win twice just to catch up.
Yeah, that was something that happened in the VVV tournament more recently. There was a team that dropped out of, like, I think 6th place, or like just outside of getting points, but they had 23 kills. So they actually got like into first place of that, event, because kills were worth 2 points each.
Yeah,
and,
so it's kind of like if if you're on like the northeast side of the map and others in the southeast, and that southeast team just happens to murder everything, the team on the far end of the map couldn't do anything about it. Like there's no play that you can do to prevent one team from killing a different team, besides somehow trying to kill them first. So it's just really, it would be really, really weird to balance if we begin like making artificial win conditions.
Plus, I mean, if you look at it this way, it takes away from the design of the game. I mean, the game is designed for a survival game. And for example, again, like you said, you got one team that starts down here and gets, 20-something kills and comes in second place. The team that survived, to me, the team that survived should always get the most points. They survived. That's the whole point of the game. And, you got some times where people end up getting stuck by themselves. Like, for example, I know Decimus. He has done it several times on the PUBG Online tournaments where his team's been taken out early on and he survived till the end.
Guys,
and he's played it extremely
I'm
smart.
recording.
He's
Stop
played it
yelling down the
extremely
hall, please.
strategically, and he comes in with the win. And to me, like, you shouldn't take away from that. And by giving points to the kills, that kind of, to me, takes away from that.
And yes, I just realized I muted Discord whenever I said that, and not OBS. Sorry, guys to hear that. I've got some noise going on in the background. Yeah, okay. I muted you guys so you didn't hear it, but stream's gonna be like, what the heck are they talking about? I got somebody talking in my hallway right now.
Okay.
Nice.
So, but points becomes a very debatable factor inside of this, because we have to look at multiple factors as they progress through. And the biggest factor in it is stability inside of game, because a lot of times somebody could like just disconnected. That could be a kill that comes inside there. So it's something that we know, like I know that the community has been talking about, but really what it comes down to is the developer just doesn't want it to be a factor, right? And they do want us to grow it out exponentially. But as we're growing, this kills could become a factor, and we know it's something that, like, I kind of lean into a little bit opposite the way Chocolate sees, is the fact that if the second place team gets 30 kills and was the biggest influencer inside the round, but doesn't get first place, should they still get more points? I think that is a debatable topic, and I think that is a debate that we should be having. But I don't think that that's an answer that we can immediately come to right now, because I know that Twitch chat's definitely talking about it, and it makes sense to do so. We do need to talk about it, but we need to figure out how to best implement it, or even if this is the best time to implement, because there's the other factor inside of it, and that's a lot of admin work. And I know it sounds weird to say, but it makes it to where it's just harder to track points and accumulate those things. So maybe as everything evolves out, we may get to that point, and definitely keep talking about stuff and keep feeding in information, saying like, hey, we think that this is what points should be worth. Okay, well, if points, like somebody was in chat a second ago saying like 0.25 is how much a kill should be worth. Okay, well then how much do we need to change the new metric for? So you can see that there's a lot of different metrics that we need to look at, and it is something, and I want to say the fact that it's everybody in the community is listening, and we see it in the feedback, we see it in the chats, and I know that the admins, the guys that make all the rules, are looking at it. It's just whenever the developer is not 100% certain that they want to go that way yet, and we have to figure out the admin style of it, we're just not certain to execute off of it. And so that's just that's the moral of it. So I just want everybody in Twitch chat, while we're talking about this, that it is something that everybody is listening for and does want to potentially add in. Just we have to figure out the metrics for it and how to make it all work like a misbalance. But we got way off on a rabbit hole going down way over here. So we talked about one team. What are some other teams that you guys like? They don't even have to be in like the top 5 or 10. What's just a team that you guys enjoy watching?
Oh, there was one guy the other day that was just, I think you might not have been there at the time, Matrim, but I know Skyline was casting because it was for EU. But like this one dude, like his team would die every single time early on, and he would just go off by himself, obviously, because doesn't have a team. But he would go off by himself and just destroy other teams, go get like 2 or 3 kills from them, and then just like leave, and then just like completely just like be like one of those people that you want to watch like the entire time just because of like what he's doing. And oh man, I can't remember his name for the life of me, and I feel bad for it because it's so good because he did it 2 days in a row.
Dude, I have a similar story too. For like, I don't remember the team, the guy, but it was like in the hills. It was the first PUBG online stream that I watched. There was a guy that was like crawling in the hills outside Pachinki after his squad and like 2 or 3 other squads got in a kill zone. Like everyone died. So this guy is just crawling through the corpses of the fallen, his fallen friends, his enemies, and gets all the way to final 3 just by crawling through just like a sea of bodies. And that sort of like morbid drama, like that suspense, was awesome to watch. And I was just like, this is so cool because like it shows like the wide variety of strategies that you can employ, especially when stuff hits the fan. So it's just so cool to watch, like the drama and the suspense of PUBG, like just games and as an esport.
Well, I think that's the biggest factor for PUBG specifically as an esport. I mean, it's fun to get all hype whenever you see like a cool shot, like, oh my god, that guy just like blew that
Headshot
head
from
off.
the window 360.
But I think there's something like my favorite moments inside of watching professional PUBG are whenever something goes really wrong, and then there's like one guy left, and that one guy is like on that mission, and he knows, he's like, I can't even shoot. If I shoot, then like 50 squads, and he's like just crawling. Like one of my favorite games that I saw, and oh my gosh, I can't remember who it was, but it was a fight right on the south side of Pachinki inside those hills. There was like 50 people alive, and there was one guy that got killed out earlier, and he was like crawling through the fields on the south side of the hill, whereas everybody was fighting on the north and like the summit of the hill itself, and everybody was just getting into all of these firefights. And then a squad comes up in front of him and starts firing at everybody coming down the hill because the circle's pushing it in. And so he's got line of sight on this whole team, and they're just like this defensive wall for him, and they're killing everybody in front of him. And next thing you know, those guys coming down the hill kill like 2 more of that squad. So now it turns into like this one guy that had just been like cowering in this bush, just playing bush monster, like, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me, is now in the top 2 teams because there's a squad of 2 and a squad of 1, and all of a sudden he just pops up and he's like, ah, and just sprays them down and gets the kill. So like,
oh man, yeah, that's awesome.
It's like those moments are the ones I love, or whenever you get down to like the 1v1s, whenever like it's just like a 4-man squad. Those are the moments I think that are going to make PUBG Online really, really interesting. And I think that a lot of these teams that we see right now are definitely executing on that. The issue that I have inside of PUBG right now is there is like the downtime, and that's an inherent thing. Like we have so many good teams that are so great at surviving, and they do it until like this 5th or 6th circle to where we have like 60 people a lot. So it leads for a 20-minute game of positioning, play, and one of the big parts that I think that a lot of people need to understand is this becomes a really strategic game. Like a lot of people are just like, oh, it's all RNG on where you land and what guns you get. That's not the case. Not at this level. I mean, these guys can murder you with the revolver. They don't care. They'll see you from 300 yards away. They'll pull the shot in, and it's amazing to see. And so it's not really so much RNG as it is the circle placement it becomes the big RNG factor, and the way that teams choose to move through. In my opinion, PUBG is a game of decisions more than it is any form of RNG. And to see these teams play that first 20 minutes where there's not a lot of death and destruction happening, that's saying like, okay, there's like these mind games that happen where you see somebody that's like, okay, do we go to the center? Because if we go to the center, somebody's probably already posted up in those buildings. So we're gonna have to fight for it. Let's go like take this really roundabout approach where they circle around and they come back over this hillside so that we can get a better angle on it. There's a lot of these little things that don't make it as action packed for a second, but make it a lot more strategic. But then you get like this action stage at Circle 6 where there's 50 people alive and the circle's like 10 meters wide and everybody's just like coming in guns blazing.
That's when stuff gets insane. But,
Yeah.
but to talk, I want to talk real quick about something that you brought up, which is saying that it's not RNG, and that's true. There's literally like statistics to back up the fact that winning this game is not RNG. Like earlier when we were discussing like the point totals for a hot second, we are. Mishram's right when he says like we are just kind of casters that like occasionally talk to like the admins, right? But just looking at statistics, like the data that's there, we can say just like without a shadow of a doubt, winning this game is not RNG. Just there's consistency to it. There's a trick to it.
Well,
I mean,
there's
to,
skill
to an extent though, because like if you think about it, like you go to one side of the circle, it's a small circle. You go to one side of the circle, and the circle comes up on the other end. I mean, that's RNG. But does that determine exactly that you're going to lose the game? No, it makes it a bit difficult, but I wouldn't say that's going to be the determining factor of you losing the game. So there is RNG obviously involved in the game, and plus also if you land right next to somebody and you go into a house and there's no guns in the house, and they go into the house and there's guns in the house, and you both come out at the same time, odds are they're probably going to win the fight. I mean, if you don't have a gun, I mean, it's just
you have to remember that
Don't land next to another person.
yeah, exactly, true. That's
that all goes
true.
back to earlier decision making. Like if a team decides to not go for the center and decide to play the edge, they know that there's a higher likelihood that they're going to have to like potentially cross the entirety of the map. So it's all in these decisions. Sure, RNG is a factor. Naturally, the circle moves in an RNG fashion, and that is by far the largest determining factor. And red zones, since they took away our ability to get rid of red zones, so those are back. So there's
No.
Not like it does anything anyways. Like
Yeah, they're really easy to avoid.
I can't say anything. I died to red zone yesterday.
I mean, all right,
Dude, same here.
I have, like,
ran through a red
800
zone. I was like, I've never been killed by red zone before. And then I died for it, and I was like, huh, that actually does hurt you, doesn't it?
it's not that big of a deal. Like I run through it all the time, and usually when I'm in the red zone, I just don't care because in 800 hours of gameplay, I've been killed by it 7 times, and it's not like I try to avoid it. I'm just like, oh, it's red zone. Big whoop.
Mine was actually kind of funny because I don't know, this red zone wanted my ass like hardcore. Like I was on a motorcycle and I had a guy on the back of it. It was just a 2-seater motorcycle. The red zone hits, bam, we both go like straight down, and then like for some reason I like skid just a little bit further ahead of him. And before I've even stopped skidding, the red zone again is like bam, and hits me, blows up right in front of me.
Dude,
the guy
you
that's
were
on the
struck
motorcycle
twice by lightning.
like there was a guy on the motorcycle back behind me that like sees my body go flying off into the distance, and he starts screaming like, ah! He manages to live. Somehow we were like 5 meters apart, maybe, and it like blows me up twice in a row. And then like my friends the rest of my squad managed to come up and like get him up, but I just like that circle was like, nah, match him. You did.
Getting a little bit back more to what we were talking about. I think like my favorite part of watching the competitive game is like watching the decision making, watching the movements, like kind of like just determining why did they move there, like what benefit did that give them, especially when it's like they know it's a crowded area and they're just trying to overtake it, because then it becomes a game of skill instead of decision making right there in that exact moment before it transfers back to it. So that's one of the things that I really love watching about the pro players is just like all their map movements to get them to like the best possible spot in this game.
Well, yeah,
the strategy is very important in this, and like that's one of the reasons why I love the game is because like H1Z1, there is strategy involved in it, but it's just in that game I just never really could get into it. It just felt like too arcadey, too fast paced. It's like it doesn't really give you time to like plan out a strategy, because like you get up to the side of a house and you're sitting there like, all right, well, we know there's guys inside. What's going to be our best, like way to deal with this? And the people in the house are sitting there thinking, okay, what are our choke points? Do I jump out the window or not the window, but the door or the windows and go after them on the outside if they're not going to expect it? So it's like the strategy involved in this game is stuff that I've seen that you can have from real life experience apply to the game, and that's extremely like that's cool, that's awesome. That's why part of the huge reason why I love this game.
Well, that's what I'm going to jump in with. And since we're talking about H1Z1, my biggest defining feature difference between it, I think, is the fact that H1Z1 doesn't give you the same amount of choice that PUBG does. Just if you look at the random drop that H1Z1 does versus the airplane drop, little things like that I think are big determining factors in my opinion.
Mm.
I'm not going to pretend to be an H1Z1 like mega player. I played it like 3 times and I was like, this thing, like I saw all the people running around with like the neon signs on them and stuff like that. I was like, this isn't for me. But like I think that it encourages that option, that choice, and that strategy, even just right off the get-go with the playing decision. You know what you're getting into. Like, I get to control how I'm going to go through this game. Whereas H1Z1, I didn't get that feeling.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like,
I want to talk about like just you rub different play styles, and I think that PUBG is literally like kind of the game for the everyman. I came up from this game interests me from my history in Arma, and I'm not talking like fucking Battle Royale. Excuse me, that's the one.
That's your one. That's your one. You get it.
I'm sorry. Oh no, I am not talking hacking in Battle Royale. I'm talking. I was part of like a Milsim community for a little bit, and pro tip: Milsim communities are like really hit or miss. It's there can be some weird stuff that happens, but I loved like the tactics and the strategy of it. And a lot of times, PUBG, especially squad-based combat, scratches that exact same itch where it's like, all right, I'm hearing gunshots here and here and here and here, and you kind of like begin like making stories in your head, like referencing the map for like what's going on around you and making strategies to back that up. Like, meanwhile, though, I'm also the guy that'll just get in a motorcycle and just ram it into the building and pull out my shotgun and just bust into it.
This is true. I can confirm he did it last night.
So it's like it's literally a game that literally provides strategies and is okay for almost play styles of anyone. You want to play like a tactical like milsim, go from hill to hill play style, you can do that. You want to take a motorcycle and bust into a place with an SMG and a shotgun, you can also do that. It's like Matrium, I think, or Matrium, excuse me, literally hits the nail on the head when he says like the way you want to play the game is up to you when you drop. And that's awesome.
I think also I like personally the fact that with the plane, everybody has the chance to go to the same places. Like there is no, like, oh, well, you can't jump here. Like you can jump anywhere along where the plane is. Everybody has the same chance. And to me, that's another important portion of it.
For the strategy, yeah, because you actually use that information to be like, okay, well, we had an east to west route. So if I go to like Severny or Stalber, if you're crazy, or just military base even,
Zarky Light.
Every time I've gone to Zarky, it hasn't gone well, man. But yeah, you can use the flight plan to actually like give you more strategy, and that's like another basis where the game is decision making. The game is tactics. The game is just playing intelligently and trying to like assume what everyone else is doing and making a plan based on that. So
also
you have all the information you need.
To bring it back to the pro level, I think that's one of the big things that we want to try to showcase. I know that a lot of times people always get on to me about like, oh my god, take down the map and stop with your Madden drawings on there. But I think that watching the map specifically, like I love whenever like everybody's parachuting out and you like get to see it on the map and you get to see everybody drop and you get to see like everybody parachutes turn different directions and like see where squads end up going. I just love that, and I love seeing like, okay, this squad's now positioned next to this one and they're gonna try to path this way. That I love seeing that strategy level inside of it, and there's definitely a lot to it. Like these pro players, like we mentioned a couple of the team names, but like let's be honest, like there's right now we have like Pure RNG off constantly, Team LFS, W's question mark, Set to Destroy X, Noble, Aimpoint, Smoking Aces, Ambition. Actually, I'm going to go all the way down even into Flashpoint after that. Those guys are all just really regularly competing inside this, and we see them a lot. PUBG team is presently 16th, but they played a lot last time around as far as North America goes. Same thing with Sky's the Limit. Actually, Neutronic Esports. That's an org that 37 points. I think that maybe they're playing EU side, but I've interacted with them. I think they have a Call of Duty team. Back whenever I did some Call of Duty stuff. Don't judge me.
I already judged you, man. Don't worry.
If we just go down like the whole list, like I think all the top like 18 teams right now really just because I know a lot of them, like especially the ones that I kind of watch personally, press F to loot. I know a lot of people on that team, and so they're they've actually gotten first place in a few of the events they've gone in. Last Wednesday, the second game they played, they got like 12 kills, first place in the second to final circle, something like that. That was like still had 20 people left. It was actually insane. They just popped off. Like Jutsu and Fairy Tail really like carried that game for that team at the end there, and it was actually really fun to watch.
We missed a great thing whenever we talked about our RNG and stuff, but now we're back to talking about teams. I just want to point out the irony. We were talking about like, there's a lot of strategic stuff that comes into this, and there's a lot of placement. But then the number one team is named pure RNG. It's like they embrace the meme themselves. They're like, nah, man, it's just chaos. We don't do nothing.
Dude, if you look at the team
list, best drops all the time.
Dude, looking at the team list, they all are just almost all of them are just pure memesters.
Memers, your boy Dre. I think just with that name, you have to be a memer to have that.
No.
See, what I want to know out of everything is we've got your boy Dre and we've got your boy Agu. And I want to know if there's any relation between this, or if this is just a thing that happened.
They gotta get on the same team and find 2 more members. That's what I'm saying.
I just want to be
team your boy.
Because think about it. But then we could go like super like ancient meme that's now like decrepit, nobody likes anymore. So anytime they get a kill, we could be like, oh, it's that team, or it's that boy Dre.
Here comes that team.
Oh my god!
Hey, it's that boy.
Yeah, it's that
Please
boy.
let that die out.
No, it's our job as casters to bring back really bad memes.
Oh man,
The deadest.
I remember in 2007, the very first meme.
Dat boy in 2017. No. All right, so we've kind of talked about a little bit about the teams and stuff like that. We have had some new changes that have come through. Naturally, the greatness that is amazing FPS in the Sunset map. I love the Sunset map. I think it's beautiful. I think it's like, hey, whatever FPS, you just get to have them all now in comparison to some of the other ones, like Rain. But other than just like the Sunset map or the new guns, like, what do you guys want to talk about? Like, here's your plethora of options.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. It was raining too hard.
Accurate.
Dude, I love the weather. I don't. Bouchard, chocolate pain. We'll talk about that later, man. Dawn is beautiful. All right. And
well, I don't have a problem with the Dawn. It's just like for me, like I run, maybe if I'm lucky, I get 20 frames like on my computer. This computer is crap, but I still play it because you know what? I love the game and I still kick ass, but whatever. But like for me, the Dawn, dude, I went from like 15 frames on any other map to 20 frames. So like, thank goodness for Dawn, because you know
that's a 33% increase.
Exactly. Thank you. Like,
you load into the game if it's not Dawn, just Alt F4 because you need to crash the game.
Pretty much, might as well.
I've got a regular guy that I play with. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say like the Dawn map. It's one of those maps where because of like the way the lighting works, it's actually, in my opinion, just playing it, I can see people from long distances a bit easier. Like, I don't know, when the sun's right overhead, I feel like distracted by the light. It's too bright for me.
Always got to look up at the sun and be like, ooh, lighting effects,
Yeah, basically.
See, I just have a friend that anytime we play and it's a rain map, he's just like, okay, guys, let's just bail out. It's like, no, we're not gonna do that.
I've done that
before. We can still get ranking.
Like, I personally like the rain map.
I do too.
It adds like a whole new kind of like strategy portion to it, because it's like I know that I'm like, okay, I can barely hear that guy. So if I am slowly moving, control walking, then he can't hear me at all. Like, that's the thing. It's like, that's, it's all about like using it to your advantage. And I know people don't like the rain because, it makes it difficult to see. But me as a sniper, like, I don't want to be in houses. I don't like being in houses. Like, I have to be out in the open and, just being able to pick people off. And the rain adds on to that for me.
See, I'm the guy that ends up being the breacher, or I guess the front man on the squad. That's kind of my role, is to like
entry fragger.
Yeah. I know that we
don't
don't
have
specifically like terms for them yet, to my knowledge anyway. If any professional teams are watching, do you want to give me the specific terms that we've come up with, like who goes in first, second, third, and like sniper or whatever?
I call myself door kicker or shotgun guy, having the same role. Very, very official.
Well, see, I don't run the shotgun though, but I should. Maybe I should start doing that.
Thank
but
me.
I love it just because of in the rain map. It makes my life so much easier. Like, I can just stroll up into a building, and until I open that door, they can have no idea I'm there. If I lead the squad in the right path over there, like if you play against the windows and everything like that, you can just make it right up to that doorway, walk in and be like, I'm here, and just like unload on them.
Yeah. In pro scenes, obviously, like like the idea is different, but that's actually why I don't like it in public games, because audio is one of the things that I'm best at, and having the rain is just like I feel like I'm just blind, like I'm playing at half capacity because someone could open my door, and if I'm not listening for it, then I'm just like, is that a door? That was probably just like a far off gunshot or something, and then like someone just in my building now with a pan just hitting me in the back of the head, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess that was a person. I didn't know.
Honestly, I feel like if they just kind of reduce the like how loud the rain is.
I mean, I think it's
Just
fine
overall,
overall, honestly.
I mean, it's just like if you just not even like that much, just by like 20%,
Like, just a
10%, like
little bit,
it'd
I
be
think
a
would be
lot
nice.
better. Yeah, just a little bit quieter.
I think that like it would be nice to have the diversity, because right now we actually don't
Yeah.
run rain games, for one, because of the sound sitting, two, because of the huge FPS drop that you get inside of it, and it would be nice to be able to venture into more maps to see how that changes up the competitive scene, for lack of a better term. Like, do we have a team that like is predominantly relying on really good vision and optics to get a lot of their kills, and then whenever you throw in rain, which I don't think should be the biggest influencer in that, but could that like severely modify? Could like one team be really great at rain maps and they just haven't had the opportunity to do so? Like, do they prefer playing close range, and since we never do rain, they just don't get to do it because they get shot to pieces by other teams? I think that would be nice, but again, we're not there yet. We got to wait. We're in early access. We got to let things stabilize a little bit more and get those FPS increases. But I would love to see some more variants, and specifically since they're talking about new maps. But I know a second ago, Chocolate, you mentioned the Groza.
Yes, the Groza, the gun that sounds like it's falling apart when you're firing it, but it's still a really good gun.
So what do you
I've
guys
seen
think about
that.
the guns?
I've seen that used both like as an amazing burst short range, and then I've also seen someone keep it on single fire and like pick someone off like a sniper rifle. It's insane.
Yeah, I think it does like 60. I think it does about 70% damage to somebody if you hit them in the head if they have a level 2 helmet on. So it's, to me, like it's almost it's either almost as powerful or it is as powerful as an SKS, and it's.
I'll look at the stats for you.
Because I mean, I'm looking. I have the information pulled up here for. I don't know if it has the damage stats on here.
See, I know that there's still a lot of people that are trying to do the mining on exactly what how it all comes together inside there. The only thing I like, have they already figured out the exact numbers now?
There was something that was released a little bit ago. I'm currently looking to see how updated it is right now.
We've got Lunatic in chat saying it's a 3-shot body, 3 headshot versus a level 3, 2 versus level 2, and 1 versus level 1. You go, Lunatic.
Yeah, that gun's insane.
There's a website called PUBG.me that has detailed listing of all of the stats, and looking at it now, it has the same damage as the AK, and I think that we all know. We all know that it has a much higher fire rate than the AK, as well as less recoil per shot. So that on its own is just shows that the Groza is a great gun, and the stats will absolutely reflect that.
Just like the Tommy gun,
absolutely.
Right?
What was that?
Just like the Tommy gun, all crate guns are good.
Well, no, honestly,
yeah.
Every time I've used the Tommy gun, though, the Tommy gun's been insane. You put a freaking SMG suppressor on it, and you go into a house. It's your house now. It's absolutely your house. There's no like. I like the Tommy gun, but I don't like the fact that everybody talks bad about the Tommy gun, because most people are like, oh, I got it in the crate, and well, at the time that you get a crate, odds are you're in the wide open. So by the time you finally get to use it, you have a fight, there's a person over there. Like, it shreds cars. It's great for breaching. Like, the Tommy gun just in general to me is a great gun, and a lot of people just talk bad about it, and I'm just like, it doesn't deserve
I just think the Groza is better. Like the
Groza is better. Don't get me wrong.
The Groza is like is like just slightly better than what the Tommy gun should have been.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like they're using 2 different rounds. The fire rate of the Tommy gun's higher than the Groza. If I get in close combat, I still want the Tommy gun over a Groza. Like, the Groza, for me, I enjoy it as a medium to long range rifle. The Tommy gun will always be one of my favorite close range weapons, minus like the Pumpy. The Pumpy's insane.
No, 249, man. 249.
See,
M249 like a medium range. It's freaking.
249 is
you just use that to blow up cars.
I haven't been blessed by crate RNGesus to drop my way and give me the Groza, I'm always like, maybe it'll be the Groza this time. I'm like, oh, it's an M249. That lets you know something's wrong. I just want to play it once. I just want to hold it in my hands. Like, my favorite gun to use in this game is the AK, just because I find it to be very utilitarian. Like, you can once you get used to like how it drops, because it does drop real quick. But once you get used to how like getting the range on it, and just the fact that you can just put it in full auto and just like step around corners and mow people down, I just like it. And I want the Groza, so that way I'm like, if I like the AK, I have to really like the Groza, right?
Yeah, actually, I would agree with that completely.
The game is just
Yeah.
like, you don't ever get the Groza. Not allowed for
Yeah, I've never gotten the Groza. The only time I've ever actually gotten a gun out of a crate was the sniper rifle. I don't remember what it's called actually because I'm bad.
The VSS.
No. The good
okay.
bolt action one.
Yeah, the AWM.
Well, there's
And
Yeah,
I
M24
instantly died after, so it's fine.
Well,
But,
that's the standard rule. If you get an AWM, you're like, oh, and then the bullet hits you in the side
Yeah,
of the head.
same
and you just fall
here.
over dead.
Mhm.
That happened.
Yeah,
A crate
no,
dropped
seriously, that's
outside
exactly
my
what happened.
house. A crate dropped outside my house, and an AWM, a 15x, and a ghillie suit, and I was just like, I'm sniping this game. That's just what's happening right now. And I tried using the 15x, and I was just like, oh my god! Like I got
It's
nausea
nauseating.
from the magnification of that weapon. It actually got me killed.
I actually like the 8x better than the 15x.
I don't think anyone actually likes the 15x.
I
think
like the
that is-
15x, and I've
Okay,
actually used
well,
I've
you're
used
weird.
it. Well, I'm a sniper. What do you expect?
Shocklight is like, he's like that guy. He's like, well, I like the Tommy
Oh
gun. I
my
like
God.
the 15x.
Yeah.
So, look, I put it on an
Hipster sniper.
M249. I put it on the M249 because you could put a 15x on the M249.
Yeah.
I found that out, and I killed somebody with it. I was like, wow, I can shoot around this guy's butt pan, and I was just like making a circle around it as I killed him because you know what? Freaking
I'm pretty
beautiful.
sure the 249 is actually an insanely good range gun.
It is.
I don't
It
remember
was
the
very
stats off the top of
good.
my head, but I think it does like a ton of damage per shot, and I think it does also a very high bullet velocity. I'm trying to look up the stats now.
Like the
But, like-
actual M249 in real life is really really good, minus the fact it jams a lot. But like between that and the M16, like the M249 is really good.
So
Like,
looking
you
up
can see-
the bullet speed of the 249, it is currently 915, which is only comparable by the AWM, which is at a 910. Every other weapon in the game, looking like right now, has very, very low bullet speed, with the only assault rifle comparable is the M16 at 900.
Mhm.
So, yeah. This is actually a pretty good sniping gun.
It is. It's minus the fact that you can't really take it off auto, which kind of sucks because it's like you're gonna try to
Yeah.
get that one shot off and you're gonna hit it like twice, and it's gonna be like, all right.
You just gotta learn to click faster
No, you don't want to click
and
fast.
more precise.
So I'm gonna say that and while everybody's talking like their love of the Groza all over the place, I love the new pistol, man. The pistol makes my soul happy.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's
every
so
time I
good.
get it, I'm just like, yeah, put that silence on there, because you find freaking pistol suppressors everywhere, and you just like
Mhm.
lock it, and it's just like
Pocket Uzi.
submachine gun,
Pocket
shotguns.
Uzi.
I don't need you anymore. I got a pistol.
I had a sniper rifle and a rifle once, and I had the pistol, that pocket Uzi, and then I knew someone was close, and I pulled the pocket Uzi. Like, all right, let's try it out. Freaking jumped around the corner. I just like tracked it and killed him,
Mhm.
and it's like literally a pocket Uzi that the iron sights aren't actually atrocious on it.
Mhm.
I
It's
agree
pretty
with
good.
you on that because every time I've had it and every time I've used it, I literally feel like I'm just using an Uzi without an extended mag on it. Like
No,
it's
I
just-
get the extended mag. That's like the second thing I look for when I
Well,
get
no,
the
like, I
Glock.
mean, yeah, obviously, but I'm saying like with the extended mag already on it, it's 25, but the Uzi without the extended mag is also 25. That's what I'm saying. It's like the Uzi without an extended mag.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
with you. So that hence the nickname, the Pocket Uzi. Although, let's be honest, that sounds a little perverse. I'm gonna be coming at you with my Pocket Uzi.
Well, I mean, now
Maybe,
it is.
like,
I don't think I'm
this
I don't
is
think
what
I'm ever
Sounds
gonna
good
call
to
it
me,
that.
man.
I don't think I'm ever gonna call it that
Place
again.
and
because of you,
time.
actually.
I've got like a super perverted sense of humor. That's why I have to like PG it up here. Like if I could just unleash, like if we
Oh,
ever did like an
goodness.
after dark cast, it would just be all the things I can't say right now.
When you're like
Not,
lighting
Nani the
candle,
heck.
I can't even
Marvin
say.
Gaye.
Be like, sit here. All right. So we've kind of done a little bit of our walk around. We've talked about the new weapons, new map settings. Now let's talk about one of the things that could be one of the largest impacts as we go forward in Chocolate Island. This is one of the things you wanted to talk about,
Mhm.
and this is what impacts do we think that the new vaulting and movement mechanics will make inside of professional PUBG?
I got you on this. This is the thing that actually has been bothering me the most about it is right now, if I jump off a ledge, I can shoot while jumping. How is it going to be whenever we jump off ledges? Are we still going to be able to shoot? Because I don't know if like the animation is going to stop us from shooting. Because like they're showing some crazy like flipping over cars and stuff like that. Like I don't want this to be some Matrix kind of stuff. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And coming in with like the acrobatics for it, like yeah, it'd be nice to jump over a wall and not sit there, 3-4 minutes trying to get over a single wall because like
I hate picket
I
fences.
I just shotgun fences. I'm just like, screw it. I'm not dealing with this. But like the thing is, like to me, it seems like, oh, I can jump off a roof right now, no problem. If I want to jump off and shoot, I can do that. But if I'm going up to the ledge and I have to like vault over it, is that going to stop me from shooting? Because I feel like that's just going to hinder me and make it actually worse for me than actually more enjoyable for me in the game.
So I'm okay with the vault. I haven't actually looked at what they've been talking about, if that's an indicator of what I know. But like as an idea, I like the idea of vaulting mechanics if it is purely adding a new mechanic and not like changing the way that jumping works. That being said, a trend that I've been seeing from some of the updates is that they've kind of been like reducing the amount of information that you can get just from like the history of a battleground, for example. So if there's like a really hard building to push into because there's a long picket fence around it, for example, and you're given the option to vault over that instead of shotgunning through it or like shooting through it or going around, I think that if you add vaulting, most people are just going to climb over that picket fence and rather than going around or shooting it, which means that it's kind of harder to tell like what happened in the past. And we saw that as well with like the car update, where cars will no longer all spawn pointing east. And I don't think that's good or bad, but I think that with that kind of update, they're inadvertently like giving the players less information to work with.
No.
And that's
my only like question is, are you still going to be able to like kind of manipulate the game to crouch jump off? Because if you can like still kind of manipulate it and like use your momentum to get over it and crouch jump off, then shooting while you're falling is not going to be an issue, but it's going to be kind of like those things like, oh, well, I don't really need to crouch jump unless it's faster. And it just kind of gives like the people who can't do that mechanic, it just gives them a way to get over things. But of course, if there's people around there, then they're going to die and they're going to have to quickly learn how to do something more efficient like crouch jumping if it's still available, if you can still kind of manipulate the game to do it.
I think that they're not going to get rid of like jumping down and being able to fire, because let's be honest, like that's one of the most popular clips that happens with PUBG on. Like, everybody loves the Batman clip where like somebody jumps off of a building and like sprays somebody down with like an Uzi or shotgun before hitting the ground. It's cool to see, and I don't think that the devs are going to step away from that. From what I gathered in all of it, it just looks like it's going to allow more moving options in general.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think the biggest influences that we'll see in the pro level is the ability to exit buildings from other options that they didn't have before, such as the ability to go out windows much easier. Because I remember like there was one round where I think it was Venerated, or it was either Venerated or Valiate, I can't remember, where they were on top of a building, like they were in a second story, and then there was a group that was down below them and another group that was outside, and he got into a firefight. It was super smart because he like threw a smoke down, making them think that they were going to come downstairs and then he was going to assault that group. Instead, Crouch jumped out of a window and came down and got the flank on the guys on the outside, got the kill onto them, and then went back around and got the last kill. It was a beautiful set of plays, and that was having to be using a crouch jumping mechanic through a specific window that didn't have bars or anything else like that.
Yeah.
So seeing what pros can do with the ability to vault, jump, maneuver a little bit more, and have a little bit more freedom. Because think about it, we see people in like Pachinki right now standing on top of like roofs because people have figured out, well, if you jump on the rail and then jump on top of the door,
I've done that. Yeah.
think of now think that now they have another option, so we could potentially see a lot of really cool new paths, new flanks. Essentially, whenever you breach now, it's not like, okay, well, I'm going to push this door, because if you push the door, then somebody might come out the windows on top of you and come down behind you. it can make for a lot more dynamic a firefight specifically around buildings.
And something I want to talk about that you kind of like touched on for a little bit was like you mentioned the play that the pro made. And like he could do it because he knew of the specific thing, like the specific window that he could go through with a specific like key like method that isn't exactly common. So we saw earlier that quality of life is something that Player Unknown is very, very interested in putting more in the game. We saw that with the inventory update where you can pick things up while moving now, which makes tab clicking you only really want to do that when you're picking up like multiple things. When you like press tab and like drag everything over to your inventory to cancel the animation. I think that this is kind of like that as well, where before like I don't want to call it like an exploit. I don't really think that is, but it's like it's a feature of the game. We'll call it that for trying to not step on any toes. That some people are aware of, that Player Unknown is adding a method to make it more accessible to everybody. And think about it now, I think that's good.
Like I do think it's somewhat good again, because like for example, I mean that what he did there comes from hours upon hours of playing, because you get somebody that's played 10 to 50 hours. A lot of times they don't know all the intricacies that somebody might have played, that's played for 700, 800 hours. And it's stuff like that. Now there's things like, for example, when we had issues with people shooting out of cars while underwater, when we had people shooting at the edge of water into the water, like that was exploiting, because you're taking a mechanic that's not supposed to be intended in the game and removed from that. Jumping and getting out like windows and stuff like that. Like if you go to school, any of the desks that are right by windows, you can get by out any of those windows. That's not an exploit. It's just not a lot of people know it, because not a lot of people try it. It's just not one of those things people are actively trying to do. But it's definitely something that comes into, play that, whenever I play, it helps me out, because it's like, okay, well, I just ran into this room. And normally most people are like, well, I'm trapped in here because you can't get out windows. And that's not entirely true. You can get out windows. You can go through them. It's just you have to have that knowledge. And that comes from experience. It comes from learning from other players as well.
It comes from just seeing stuff. Like I think that's the biggest factor in like one of the reasons why we might see as like pro PUBG starts becoming more and more popular. We might see a different way that people are playing, because you can see like right now there's a very stable meta, I guess you could say, that's happening with professional players that like they'll drop to locations, drop far out, go for survival, try to make the last circles, kill as they come across and only as need. Whereas if you watch like, I guess just matchmaking games is what I'll call them, because there's not like really there's a ranking system, but not everybody really plays for rank, for lack of a better term. We were talking about beforehand. Sometimes you just get in a motorcycle and go a direction just for lulz. You'll see that that maybe some of that might start carrying over, instead of just stop being like, everybody go to military base at Pachinki and we have a fight out. Because let's be honest, right now, I think that I'm in squads, I'm rated right around, I think my rating is 2250. Like I'm in the top, I'm right around the top 3,000 players. And so even there,
brag about it.
You still see, well, no, I'm just saying, you still see like half the squads are still jumping to Pachinki military base, and then like before the first circle is even closing, you're down to like 50 people. Now, if you compare that to a pro match, totally different. Like you come in with 70 people and you have 60 people alive on the 6th circle. And so I'm curious if we'll start to see more of that develop as more and more of these higher ranked players start watching more professional stuff, start trying to play in more of a competitive environment, and we start to see that carry over and wash into the matchmaking modes. Because you always see that the pros decide some form of meta every single time. I'm really interested to see that carry over, and like that leads back into what we were talking about with vaulting, like these things like crouch jumping, these different pathings that people can take. You see the pros do it on a regular basis, but you don't ever see those come into game, like near on ever. Like it's just not a lot of people do that because they just don't even know you can.
The other thing is like when like I was for a while I was ranked like 340 in squads, so like we've both been pretty high up there, and it's one of those things where you look at the game, you have at least 25 teams, at least, and you're going into these games and you have all these people. We have more people than we have in our tournaments, and that's fine. I'm not saying that's a problem, but you're going to have people going to military. You're going to have, rather than, you know, on average, maybe we see at most 2 teams go to military in the tournaments. On average, in, you know, the actual like matchmaking, you're gonna have 2 to 3 teams, and like 2
Yeah.
is the least. Like if you get it by yourself, like phenomenal, that's great. But usually you're gonna have like 3 people.
I'll
or
actually
2 teams.
disagree.
Because a lot of people that. Well, I think it's more than 2 and 3. But real quick, like strategies are different in matchmaking because a lot of times people are just there to frag out and just like I want to kill things in close range. But yeah, go ahead.
I think that even if we got, because right now we run 18 teams, even if we pushed it up to 25, which was an extra 7 teams that were in there, I don't think that the drop mechanics would change that dramatically. I think people would still avoid early fights. So you have a whole bunch of people drop over military base, but the ones that got closest first or like essentially put their stake in the ground, like they touched the ground first, would claim it, and somebody might drop on like the outskirts of military base, look like hit one building, look for a vehicle, and get out. I don't think that like we would have some type of skirmishing that would happen. I just don't think that we would have like a couple more deaths early.
Yeah,
I don't think that we would see the dramatic difference that we've seen between matchmaking and professional.
I absolutely agree. I think there'd be a little bit more early game skirmishing and a lot more people just being like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna loot like these 5 buildings and hope that we find something.
Time to drop my
But at the same
shack. I'm
time,
gonna get this FP shack. You get that FP shack, and I'll get that one, and then we'll
and if we find a pistol, then there we go. We'll kill someone else that was like running in a field right now that because they didn't want to go in the military.
well, at the same time, though, I mean, with the high ranking matchmaking, you have everybody believes in their ability. I mean, that's just how it is. Like you go in, you go, all right, well, I landed here with another team. Don't worry, we got this. And you know what? Odds are you probably do. But at the same time, it's like everybody else is sitting there saying the same thing. That's why a lot of teams don't turn away because they're like, unless like, for example, unless I have like a good 3 or 4 seconds before I land and the other team, if I'm landing at the same time as the other team, I'm probably staying there. I'm probably fighting it out. But if they're landing like, 5 seconds ahead of me, I might veer off or I might find, a house around the edge and then go in and go get them.
Yeah, there's a lot you can say about parachute strats and mind games and that sort of thing. Like it's such a complex and interesting topic as well. Like there's so much you can think about for that.
I think we might need to save that for next time we do this because we've been here for about an hour and 15. I know. Everybody can look at our beautiful faces and like that beautiful beard of Fuzzy Seals over there. It's so good. But we're probably gonna need to wrap this up. So again, we'll just kind of go around clockwise. Guys, if you want to do any shout outs about yourself or anything that's coming up, or just a quick sentence that's just something you think is cool, do it. You guys got time. So Fuzzy Steel, start us off.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at @_LittleFuzzySeal. I haven't been streaming recently. I plan on starting, and this is my beard. I call it a little fuzzy beard. It's gonna be really hard to shave this now that I've named it.
Make a Twitter for it, then it'll be impossible.
I'll think about it. But anyway, really cool thing to plug. PUBG Online, one of the coolest things I've ever had the pleasure to be a part of. So that's my plug.
And then we'll go down to Pixel.
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter at Bixel_. The actual underscore, not like the word. I mean, shout out to PUBG Online, just like Fuzzy Seal. It's actually amazing to be, working with all these awesome people, and I hope to see people in the future when I cast.
Casting it over to Chocolate Pain. What you got for us?
So yeah, basically I got Twitter that I never use, so I'll probably start using it a lot more because I actually have a reason to use it now. And I'm also on Twitch. I stream almost daily. It just depends. Like I stream random games. I can't stream PUBG because I don't like playing at 5 frames per second. But it's Chocolate Pain spelled out the same way as you see at the bottom of our name here. And yeah, check out PUBG Online. If you're here, you probably already have. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, we got games going, and they're great.
Yep. And so we will be getting our best 18 teams for EU and North America as of tomorrow. Really excited about that. I guess things that I should point out is naturally catch me at Twitter. I don't do streaming. I'm probably going to here sooner or later, just because I want to. But past that, just give me a follow there. I try to make sure that I tweet out all the events that are going on. I didn't tweet about the podcast today, so don't judge me. Additionally, I did want to give a point out, guys. Since I know everybody jokes about my toaster, I did get a new Ryzen processor, a new motherboard, and made the switch over from DDR3 to DDR4. So the streams that I'm going to be running should have a much cleaner polish. I spent a lot of money for you guys, so that way things can be cleaner. So Don't call my computer a toaster anymore. But with that,
It's like,
guys,
it's like a toaster with diamonds on it now.
I mean, it's hard
Oh,
to stream
jeez.
this game. Like, it's like if you
It
do a
is.
jump from like, I don't know, if like you're up in Zarky and something starts happening in a military base and like 5 squads converge, you're like, well, I've got to click there. I'm just not going to get textures or buildings for about 20 seconds. So let's click over there and look at the map. Hopefully this makes this a little bit better. But there's just some things that Spectator Client doesn't allow us to do. All right, guys.
Yeah, we should stream some PUBG to get this sometime, Matt.
Oh, we will. We will.
Let's
We'll
do
all
it.
get together, and then we'll all get in, and we'll start off with fun, and then we'll slowly devolve into Salt. Yeah,
God, this guy sucks so much.
Slowly, it's
Oh.
like 1 or 2 games, and I'm just like the Salt Lord. So.
I'm usually pretty okay until I'm just like, hey guys, why don't we go over there? And then somebody like is off looting a building off to the side, and I'm just like, stop!
Nah,
we're in the
good.
4th circle. You don't need anything else. Let's just go.
I have 8 health.
Go on
You did.
tangent. Gotta wrap this
Oh, let's get out of here.
All right, guys. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close down the stream. One last shout out I want to say is thank you to all of the players that are watching right now, all of the teams, everybody that's watching, even if you're not a player, just for coming and supporting this. If you guys have anything that you want us to talk about, hit us up on our Twitters. Send it to the main PUBG Online Twitter, or just use the Discord. We're always looking for more topics and how you want us to make this better. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you